some cooking. I like cooking. I think it'd be
Oh,
fun to do something like that if we could.
share a recipe every once in a while.
Yeah.
You
Bust out
know,
a cook pot.
I'm not gonna call myself a chef, but I do know my way around that kitchen.
I
You
just
know.
I just have always enjoyed it. My grandma, my dad, my grandpa, really, all of us, they were teaching me how to cook since I was 5, which is funny because when I was first dating my wife, uh, I told her, I was like, oh yeah, I can do that. I'm a pretty good cook. She's like, you're a cook? I'm like, yeah. And I thought about it for a second and I was like, yeah, I've probably been cooking since you were in diapers. Right. And she was like, excuse me? Like, what, did grandma let you pour the milk in the cereal and call it cooking? And I was like, listen here. First of all, I've been cooking on a stovetop since I was 5.
There you go.
Right. And she's like, how dare you? No, you haven't, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, a couple of years later, I actually found a picture of me when I was 5 with a
Whipping it,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles apron, sitting over our little cook pot making some ground beef breast.
Listen, if you have an apron, you were cooking.
Right?
If you had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle apron, you were cooking.
Man, I was cooking. She was like, damn, I was kind of a bitch, wasn't I? I was like, I wasn't going to say it, but you can think what you want.
Yeah, I'm more of a. I'm definitely deadly on the grill.
Ooh, I love barbecue.
Put me on a barbecue grill,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make some magic happen. That's for sure. Definitely grill. But my mom taught me how to make this smothered pork chops, which is probably my favorite meal.
Mm-hmm.
That's a meal that I can make. I try to make the meal at least once a week, honestly. The good thing is my sons love it. They love it. Get that gravy on that rice. I don't try to give them too much of the pork, but give them a little bit of pork pieces, but that gravy and the rice, eat it up.
Is there something about the pork?
Oh, just pork ain't good for you. So I don't want to.
Okay.
I try to, when it comes to my sons, I try to try to be more on the healthy side. I probably try to pay more attention to what their food intake is, the ingredients.
Yeah, I do that too.
Way more than what I do for myself. Of course.
We try our best, right? We go out and we get the next level up of nuggets, right? We make sure that it's like just some chicken and breading. And then so we get him like better nuggets. But he's getting picky. He's getting real picky about what he
It's getting tough, huh?
Yeah, we can make waffles. We just bought like a cheap little waffle iron now, so we can make a few of them and freeze it, which is real cool. Because then in the morning, you just throw a toaster, pop up, throw it there, and he's ready to go.
There you go.
Yeah, do breakfast can take like no time anymore. That's what we've been doing for some stuff.
Yeah, my sons have definitely started to get a little picky.
Mm-hmm.
And of course they rather play than eat.
Oh, and then
so part of that is they're saying no not because they don't want it, because they rather play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's funny too because I'll be like, all right, let's see what happens once, and I let him play, and eventually he's like, milk, cookie, cereal,
bites,
yogurt,
daddy, bites,
yogurt, for whatever he can think of because he's hungry. So
start naming off stuff, huh?
And I'll put him in his little chair and put whatever food in front of him. He'll just scarf it down real fast and be like, all done.
Yeah, so it's it is tough trying to
Mm-hmm.
Because you basically want to give them whatever they will eat, and it's easier to find something that's not necessarily that great for them. Easier and cheaper, you know what I mean? So, but you gotta stick to the course to read those ingredients, which is what I'm doing, and I'm googling this stuff and figuring out what all this red dye and
oh man, you would be surprised.
yellow 5, whatever that is. I'm starting to understand what this stuff is. And
there's some crazy stuff in our food. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that is in our food that they use for like antifreeze.
Exactly.
Right, and I'm like,
I'm seeing stuff in our food. I'm looking like this looks like some stuff that I was receiving in at work yesterday.
Yeah, some of the names.
Yeah, some of these names. I'm like, phosphoric. Wait a minute.
Phosphoric, yeah.
What is this?
I mean, it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I feel like sometimes they use the big name like phosphoric chemical, blah 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 blah, in order to hide what it really is. Because if they were to put what it was, people wouldn't want to eat it. So I think they use that sometimes. I don't know. I can't prove it. I ain't no doctor. They say it's safe, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They say it's safe.
Safe doesn't always mean good.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they have, certain things can have a certain amount of mold in it that they can deem, oh, it's safe. But,
Mhm.
I don't
It's
want
still
any
mold.
mold.
Yeah. Still mold.
I want 0% mold. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? 2% is too much.
Yeah. It's crazy. I don't understand it. We'll probably have a long video on that at some point.
Yeah, we got
That's
some
some
things we got to
crazy-
figure out in this country where we're feeding ourselves and more importantly our children.
Yeah. Yeah. I've honestly, it's us. Not you, literally you and me, but it's us. The people spend their money on what they want, and as long as the companies keep making money, feeding us questionable material,
Exactly.
they just gonna keep doing it. It
Yeah.
don't matter who or what is doing anything. As long as we're paying for it, they'll find a way to keep doing it.
Because I know that you go to the UK, you can grab a box of Fruit Loops.
Mhm.
You read the back of it, see the ingredients. It's the same box of Fruit Loops that they're selling here in the US. It's gonna have a whole lot more stuff on that list
Mhm.
that they don't have out there in the UK and the other countries.
Yeah.
And you got to ask yourself, why is that? What is it about out there that they're refusing to allow this stuff in their food, and over here it's okay? And like you said, it comes down to us.
Yeah, I mean, as long
If
as
we
we're
stop
willing to keep
buying,
paying.
if we stop paying for it, then the company is going to have to figure something out
Mhm.
once they start losing money.
Although I did just hear, I want to say it was West Virginia or Virginia, one of the two. They just passed a ban on a lot of artificial food colors and dyes that in that state, and a state doing that could have some pretty interesting long-term effects.
Yeah, for
all
sure.
of us,
That's
right?
what we need. We need
Yeah.
somebody to take that step, and then the next state that'll follow through. You would think a state like Oregon, us, you think that we would take that lead.
You would
But,
think so.
know,
Oregon, California, Washington,
Yeah,
like we're hella on it, but I think it's just going to take one state to start it, people to start talking about it and be like, you know what? Honestly, yeah, that's true. Like I was at Burger King for it was Halloween and they had that Wednesday Addams Whopper, and it was like purple, and it specifically said on there that it was dyed with purple yam coloring. It was like a natural food coloring, and I was like, oh, see, there you go. I think if more people start doing it and saying, hey, this is a natural food coloring, I think more people would just naturally be like, what have we been eating?
What have we
What
been
have we
eating
been
all
eating?
this time?
And then, once people start thinking, like, oh, have we really been eating? There's a yellow dye that is, if I remember correctly, is made from like tar sludge.
Yeah, I think that's the Yellow 5 or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. And it's like, at some point, if we just start thinking about it, start buying other foods, maybe if some company were to come out and actually start creating uh, their own version of Cheerios that was an all natural dyed with like a whole grain wheat or something, and people started buying it, that company would move up forward, and then all the other companies would die off because people were like, you know what? I do not want to put what I personally can only assume is unedible crap in my
Yeah.
kids' food.
Yeah.
Not the cereal's good for you anyway, but it's probably made worse with some of these freaking food coloring.
Yeah. Cereals, chips,
Mhm.
all this stuff, it's just, we got to figure something out. I try to buy all natural,
Mhm.
the most all natural I can find. And it comes to the point where, honestly, you're better off just growing your own,
Yeah,
whatever you can grow.
if you got some land, you got to build
Yeah.
land something. I mean, it's. I think we're at a point where people are starting to seriously think about and keep track of their health.
Mhm.
That something may start happening. Like we were getting this one baby food called Serenity because they have all these extra tests, and they invited Gerber to take the tests for what was in their food to make sure there were no heavy metals, no impurities of like garbage crap in there, and they denied it.
I bet they did.
They were like, "Nah, we're good."
I bet they did.
Yeah, so
And see, you thought Gerber was a good name. They should have
Mhm.
took that test. Improve yourselves, man.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not saying there's anything bad in Gerber, but we were a little extra on what
Very
we wanted
suspicious
to.
that they don't take the test.
Yeah, it's something. There was, I can't remember. My wife was telling me there was like 7 or 8 companies they invited that denied, and they'd invited like a lot of people for this specific test to make sure these bad things weren't in the baby food. Because let's be real, you do not want bad things in baby food. That's when they're developing. That's when they need it
And they're
to be good and pure. And
they're
clean.
saying this is what a lot of this ADHD, autism is stemming from what these children are intaking.
Especially right now, with their brain actually developing.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine what would happen if they put some extra heavy metals in there on accident.
And you know, we probably tell ourselves, well, you know, my parents were feeding me Doritos and this and that, you know, and I'm fine. But you know, we gotta look at the I know there's something wrong with me. But I mean, back then, I think that stuff was a little bit more natural than it is now. I think now stuff is getting, you know, it's gotten worse.
It would be interesting to see, because I think you're right. Like I would bet that 20 years ago when we were,
you grab a bag of Doritos, look at the ingredients from today to 20 years ago.
20 years ago, 20.
Yeah, we needed 30 years ago. Yeah.
I don't think they use the same ingredients. I
don't think they do neither.
No, I think inflation made it expensive, and some of these fake BS ingredients were cheaper. So what they did is they started using the fake ingredients to keep the costs down, and in so doing, the long-term effects. Maybe like the first item wasn't as good, but it's one little thing, and then now probably half of the Dorito is just stuff we shouldn't even be eating anyway.
Right.
And let's be real, it's a Dorito, cheese powder and potatoes, some oil, whatever you cook it in. Like why are we complicating chips?
Why are we complicating chips?
Right?
It is probably, I mean, we can make chips. We can make chips at home.
Yeah. Go get some potatoes, cut it up, get yourself some good oil.
My woman has made me some chilaquiles. You ever had chilaquiles?
I don't think I have.
It's a Mexican breakfast dish where they take homemade chips. They take tortillas, cut them up in triangles, fry those up, make chips, put some red or green sauce down on it, put some cheese, your choice of meat, and some egg and some beans. Oh man, I'm telling you right now.
That'd be bomb. Put some bacon on there.
Fire meal.
Put some bacon on there.
There you go. There you go.
I like me some bacon.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but for real though, like, what? It's literally just potatoes, deep fried, and some seasoning.
But when you look on the back of that Dorito bag, it's just potatoes, cheese, dust. You know, they got stuff on there that's. You do some research, you probably realize that it's killing you.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
It's killing you.
To be honest with you, like, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that you go and look into it, and they were like, "Well, it's supposed to be a snack," so we were actually able to get around whatever justification they can in this food because you're only supposed to be eating such a small amount.
Oh yeah, there you go.
It wouldn't surprise me if they used crazy.
The servings. This is only 2 servings, so we can have this much in 2 servings.
Serving of a Fig Newton is 2 cookies.
Man,
no one's eating 2 cookies of Fig Newton. You eating the whole sleeve.
I eat the strawberry Fig Newtons. I'm eating the whole sleeve.
Those strawberry Newtons are the best. Why Fig Newtons became the big one, I don't know, because the strawberry is on another level.
Yeah. Strawberry Fig Newton.
Man, dude, those are delicious.
My dad introduced those to me years ago. And those are probably not the same. They probably have different ingredients now than they did when I started eating those
Twinkies
30 years ago.
Twinkies, when they first came out, had a banana cream filling.
And now it's something
the
else.
Original recipe. Now it's just like whipped cream, heavy cream, something like that.
I never was a fan of Twinkies.
I wasn't either, but I was thinking about a banana cream Twinkie. That might be pretty good.
So I was watching this video, and there were, those drumstick ice cream cones.
Oh yeah, the frozen treats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're ice cream.
Yeah, they're not ice cream.
Too, huh?
They don't melt.
They don't melt.
They don't melt. I don't even know what's in that.
I just saw this like not even 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
They don't melt, and I was 2 months ago, I was eating them.
Yeah.
And I scarfed them down so fast, I didn't realize they don't melt.
I know, right?
So yeah, I wanted to actually do the test myself,
See what happens.
see what happens. I'm gonna leave one out and see if anything melts. And we all know ice cream melts.
Hmm.
That's just a fact.
That's another thing too. If you're looking at ice cream, you got to look because some of it says frozen treat. It's not even technically ice cream. Like they're getting away with.
They're getting away with it. They're getting away with it.
I don't know. That's crazy to me. But
It's scary a little bit.
it is weird, man.
And it makes you wonder why. Like why is the need of make a dollar so important that you would just risk the health of the people who are spending the money?
I would bet, thinking about it, that it's not that they were thinking of it as that they're detrimentally hurting people, right? They were like an incremental process. Like, hey, if we change up this ingredient with this ingredient, it's not quite as good, but we'll be able to save 30 cents per unit sold.
Exactly.
And then over time,
But they have to know, like, okay, well, we know that this won't kill you instantly.
all right. Well, I don't even know if they knew. Like, because you could make the argument that it wasn't realized at the time, right? So when they first started doing it, let's say they were originally using cream and they had an actual ice cream treat. And then ice cream or the cream or whatever they were using to make the ice cream went up in price. But that was going to cause this treat to go up in price so much that people wouldn't buy it. So in order to keep in the business, they had to find a substitute that allowed them to stay at their price point. I don't know. There's probably reasons.
Well, I'm sure it all comes down to the dollar.
Yeah.
All the decisions are made because they're trying to make a dollar.
Yeah, probably.
But I also believe that this stuff has to be tested.
It should be tested.
They're not testing it on us in the stores.
Yes. No, it definitely should be tested.
So they know that, you know what, this ain't going to kill you today, but it'll probably kill you in 30 years. But that's 30 years on the road. How are you going to say it came from this?
Yeah. I don't. It's possible.
Who's to say?
Well, I think there's also a problem. There's this, I just heard about this, grass. Generally assumed safe, I think is what it stands for. And there could be another S on it. But it's an exemption or a classification that they put on certain things that I think originally was only supposed to be for sugar and flour, right? And it's considered generally safe. It's safe as long as you're not allergic to like sugar or something like that. And then it wouldn't surprise me if you found out that lobbyists came in and wanted more things to be GRAS certified so that they could put it in food. So more things and more things kept getting added to it. But I don't know if the proper study was ever done on some of these ingredients.
It's probably just a criteria that needs to be made.
Yeah.
Here's a criteria. Now try to fit what you want in this box. And then you're good to go.
A lot of these companies as well, they do their own testing. So they're incentivized to make whatever they're testing pass because they want it to pass.
Oh, you add a little bit of this. Now the formula will pass.
Yeah. So now it's just generally considered safe.
You're not taking none of the bad stuff out. You're just balancing it out.
Probably.
In order to get through.
Yeah. And even then, it's like, what is the test that you're doing for your own thing?
Where are these rats you guys are testing this stuff on?
Yeah, it's crazy. I
Let me
don't know.
see what these rats look like.
I don't know, man. But all I know is I'm doing my best to look at some ingredients. I'm even trying to do it for myself now. I'm already doing it. I'm doing it. Right. Let's try to get better ingredients. I found a local farm that I can source meat from. I told you about that, right? So we ended up buying like a half a cow, and we still, like last year in July, I think, and I still have like 10 to 15 pounds of ground beef left and a bunch of like some steaks and some other meats and stuff.
So you bought that when?
I think it was July of last
year. I mean, listen.
Dude. And it's local. They do like better, they grass fed and stuff like that. We looked into it. It's pretty cool. But honestly, that saved us a lot of money long term. That We got a freezer for it and everything. And then if I could figure out a way to like locally source vegetables in the same way, I'd be set.
Yeah, and I'm sure
I'd
you
be set.
can. I'm sure there's farmers out there you can get in contact
Mhm.
with, you know,
I mean,
and I know they have farmer markets.
yeah, I mean,
all over
besides, because the farmer market has kind of a little bit of a markup on it, so it ends up being more expensive than the regular grocery store. But I'm wondering if I can find a place where I can just go straight to the
straight from the source.
farmer
Huh?
and basically buy it at grocery store prices. Because that cow was hella cheap comparatively.
Yeah, I'm
Hey guys, thanks for watching this clip of Talk Too Much. Like, subscribe, follow us for more videos. Thank you.